Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Hey, welcome into a Tuesday edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30 minutes, and we are going to break down the National Football League, Major League Baseball, and the NHL as we go through this show. You can tune in on youtube.com/the Romanellas. That's youtube.com/the Romanellas. You can comment live on the YouTube channel, twitterx.com, instagram.com, whatever the hell you want to say. The Rome Show 1. That's the Rome Show, then the number 1, and facebook.com, the Rome Show. So many ways to get the show. Just remember, share it with a friend, hit subscribe, follow, whatever. You miss any of it, you don't see it live, you want to listen in the car later, don't want to look at my face, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Last night, we had our Monday evening 6:30 p.m. special as we got you ready for 2 Monday Night Football contests, both the Bears and the Commanders, the favorites by a combined 9.5 points last night, did not show up. So big wins for the Bears and big wins for the Falcons. We'll break that down in about 1 minute. And then make sure you stay with us around 7:20, 7:25. We will do our Tuesday top stories. We'll take you all the way around the NFL, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, and give you the top stories everywhere you need to know. And then we have to finish the show. So it's a jam-packed one for you on a Tuesday. Like I said before, comment. Let us know your thoughts on any of the social media sites. Let's get into Monday Night Football. And we've been talking about this stupid 2 Monday Night Football thing for a long time now. And I really don't understand what the NFL is doing. Okay, I get it. It's almost like a 1 o'clock on a Sunday or a 4:25 on a Monday, or a 4:25 on a Sunday. You have all of these games going on, and you can watch. You're trying to watch multiple games, but I don't have the Red Zone channel on a Monday. A, B, I've had my this is an insane amount of football at one time fix already, okay? If I'm only an NFL fan, I've definitely had it on Sunday. And if I'm just a football fan or also a college football fan or also somebody that enjoys watching the college football on Saturday and Friday as much as I do the NFL on Sunday, you get to Monday and you're like, all right, I just finished my work week. Let me sit down here and hopefully watch a good football game. And then you got 2 on. And then you have the postseason in Major League Baseball. And that doesn't even include the NHL regular season being 3 or 4 games in and the NBA getting geared up for tip-off. There's just so much. And I think 2 Monday Night Football games is stupid. I really do. I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid to start the season. I think it's stupid in week 4. I think it's stupid in week 6. I just don't see the point of it. You have the monopoly on Thursday. You have the monopoly on Sunday. You already have the monopoly on Monday. Why do we need to add 2? And most people are not looking to flip back and forth on the channel, dial, on the remote, on their streaming service, whatever the 49 different ways you could find a way to watch one of these football games. 2 Monday Night Football games has to stop. It is not as enjoyable. It actually gives me more anxiety. I'm like, oh man, I really got to lock in here on a Monday. Normally it's 1 football game and then whatever other sport I want to tap into. But If I want to watch both games, it's almost nearly impossible. The first game last night was the Bills versus the Falcons. And I took the Bills at the -4 last night because though the Falcons coming into this game, as we talked on our Monday preview show, the Falcons passing defense is number 1 in the league. The total yards they're giving up, number 1 in the league. Well, they showed that last night versus the Buffalo Bills. They beat the Bills 24-14, holding them to 7 points apiece in the first and the second half. This is a Bills offense that came into this Monday Night Football game averaging 30.6 points per game, which was good for 3rd in the National Football League. On the flip side, they might have the worst defense in the league, the Bills, that is. They gave up 443 total yards to this Falcons offense, and over 300 of those yards to Drake London and Bijan Robinson. Drake London finished with 158 and 1 TD. Bijan Robinson had 238 total yards and a touchdown. Those two went off. What I learned last night is that this Atlanta Falcons defense is real. Okay? And think about the weapons that we just mentioned on the offensive side, and I still think the best attribute to this team in Atlanta is their defense. Here are some numbers from what the Falcons defense did to the Bills last night. Now, remember, just 13 days ago, the Buffalo Bills were 4-0. And heading into that game against the Patriots after an Eagles loss on Thursday night, you're like, huh? You're 4-1. Eagles loss on Thursday night. You're playing Atlanta, who I don't know if anyone believes yet. They might now. And you're like, this could be the best team in the National Football League. And then 40 minutes later, the Falcons defense holds Josh Allen to 180 yards total passing, holds the run game to 134 total yards, and holds the Bills to 14 points. And you're like, huh? This team is legit. 4 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, 9 pass defended, and 6 QB hits. The Falcons, they improved to 3-2. The Bills, much like the Eagles, after a 4-0 start, looking like the best team in the AFC, now dropped 2 straight. And you ask yourself, is there a problem in Buffalo? Do we have an issue here? And I am here to answer that question and tell you, yes, we have a problem in Buffalo, and it is called the defense. Does not matter what type of quarterback you have. Doesn't matter what type of weapons he has around him, which are subpar, by the way. Subpar weapons. It feels like a little bit of a broke version of Patrick Mahomes sometimes when I watch the Buffalo Bills. I'm like, Josh Allen's the reigning MVP. Can we not get this guy some weapons? Can we not get a legitimate offensive line built in Buffalo here? Is Josh Allen that good that he's been masking these things for the last few years when you watch the Buffalo Bills? Because all I know is through weeks 1, 2, and 3, they look like one of the best teams in the league. Then the Dolphins came into town, and from that moment on, it really hasn't felt that special. And now you have a 2-game losing streak with a defense that looks like Swiss cheese. Watch out for the Falcons, by the way, people. Watch out for the Falcons. You're watching The Rome Show, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas, facebook.com/The Rome Show 1, and Twitter X and Instagram, The Rome Show 1. Be sure to subscribe, follow, share with a friend. We're talking Monday Night Football, breaking down the 2 games last night. We are heading into the Bears and the Falcons, which ended like this.
Snap a bit high. Kick is good. And the Bears win it. Jake Moody, a hero tonight.
How do we get to that game-winning field goal by the Chicago Bears? The Commanders were up 24-22. It was a rainy day. Big-time turnovers cost the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels gets a shotgun snap, looks to hand it off to the running back, fumbles the football. It is recovered by the Falcons. The Falcons then proceed to get them Moody and themselves into game-winning field goal position, and Moody gives the Chicago Bears their third straight victory after starting the season 0-2. And in those victories, this Chicago Bears team has averaged essentially 30 points a game, really 29 points per game, and beat the Cowboys, the Raiders, and the Commanders. So not the best teams in the league, but you're also not going and beating the Titans and the Jets and the Dolphins over a 3-week span. You got to ask the question, is this the real version of the Chicago Bears? Or were the first 2 weeks the real version of the Chicago Bears? Post-game, Caleb Williams talked about the adversity that this team is prepared to handle and how they've already handled some of that adversity throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. And the only way you're going to be good as a football team is if you're able to handle that adversity. Good on the Bears. Good on Caleb Williams and the offense, who amassed over 400 total yards against the Washington Commanders. 252, 1 TD for Caleb Williams, 14 carries, 118 yards on the ground for DeAndre Swift. He also added 67 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. He had a total of 175 yards with that touchdown. The real difference here was the turnovers. Jaden Daniels accounted for 3 touchdowns, but also 2 turnovers. 3 total turnovers in this contest for the Washington Commanders. 2 fumbles, 1 by Krosky Merritt, 1 by Daniels, and an interception. That was the difference. No matter how you play the football game, if one singular turnover results in a game-winning field goal, turnovers are the difference. But if you had 2 more on the board for 3 total, it's impossible to win a game in the National Football League, especially against a team if you consider them a good team. And last night, the Washington Commanders shot themselves in the foot over and over and over again. And it was bad weather, and it was not pretty. And good teams in not pretty scenarios find a way to win. And the Commanders did not do that last night. So what did I learn after Monday Night Football last night? Because I thought both favorites were not head and shoulders above better than the teams that they were playing, but I truly thought the Bills were better than the Falcons, and I truly thought the Commanders were better than the Bears. But what I learned last night is this National Football League is absolutely wide open. When you went into Sunday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were not the team you thought would be number 1 in the NFC, but they are at 5-1. When you went in to the weekend, did you think that the first 2 teams atop the AFC would be the Indianapolis Colts at 5-1, led by Daniel Jones, and then second, the Pittsburgh Steelers at 4-1, led by Aaron Rodgers? Parity is all over the National Football League right now. I mean, listen, you're only 6 weeks in, but if the season ended today, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Houston Texans, and the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens would not be in the playoffs. Think about that. If the season ended today, the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Texans, 3 teams that we really thought were going to be atop this AFC, and I mean, maybe for the Texans at 2-3, still a little bit of time. The Chiefs at 3-3, definitely off that win with Detroit, plenty of time. But just put it into perspective through 6 weeks, how much parity is actually in the National Football League this year. And it's going to be fun. So saddle in, just like you're saddled up here for the Rome Show on a Tuesday. We'll take a quick commercial break, like a minute and 20 seconds, whatever it is. And you should sponsor it, by the way. Hit me up if you want to be a commercial sponsor, a segment sponsor. I did not do my job before the show today, so I need to make sure I can get my newest commercial sponsor on here. Hopefully that'll be for Hump Day tomorrow. Excited about it. The Rome Show. We got Tuesday top stories coming up after this, and then we finish the show with some daily bananas. Andrew Romanella back after this. Yeah, the Rome Show, broadcasting live on youtube.com/the Romanellas, Twitter X, Instagram, Facebook. So many places to get the show, the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We got that spooky Halloween music in the background. What is it, 17 days till Halloween? Gosh, I love Halloween. 10 days. Till my birthday, by the way. Fire me up. Hopefully, we got some good Halloween costumes of brewing for the Romo Sapiens out there. I'm going to be an M&M with my beautiful fiance. Our wedding colors are blue and pink. So I am going to be the blue M&M. My beautiful fiance is going to be the pink M&M. And we found out yesterday that my mother's diving in there, and she's going to be an M&M as well. We are dressing up as candy in the Romanella Rinaldi household for Halloween this year. Halloween's big in my family. Huge in my family. This is like a super important holiday. My birthday's on the 24th. My sister's birthday's on the 26th. We have like a gigantic party at her house. We call it her Halloween. Okay. Won't go any deeper than that. Don't need to give out personal information, but it's a good time. And so my nephew, Nico, who you've heard before, Nico and Vinny podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, that's an electric one. My nephew, Nico, chooses our theme every year. And some years I'm in. I'm like, this is great. Some years I'm like, this is a difficult one for me. Last year we were Mario Kart, and this year we've been chosen for candy. So in the interest of comfort, we have decided we are going to be M&M. So write me in. I'd love to know what the people are being for Halloween. Give me some thoughts. YouTube.com/the Romanellas. And thank you for subscribing when you head over there, by the way. I saw some people subscribing over the last week. Fire me up. Or Twitter.com or Twitter X or whatever the hell you call it. The Rome Show, one comment there. We'll have a good old time. Let's get into our Tuesday top stories here on the Rome Show. All right. Starting in Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers take a 1-0 series lead last night versus the Brewers. What a wild game. First and foremost, Blake Snell is the best pitcher in Major League Baseball right now. Last night against the Brewers, he went 8 innings, gave up 1 hit. Yeah, 1 hit, had 10 Ks in a victory for the Dodgers. In the postseason so far, in 3 starts, Blake Snell's thrown 21 innings. He has a 0.86 ERA and has 28 Ks. No wonder the Dodgers, whose offense is hitting a combined 259 right now and hit 198 during the NLDS, still find themselves up 1-0 in the NLCS. Because when your pitching is that good, you have the ability to win every game. What's the common adage? You're only as good as the next day's starting pitcher. Well, yesterday's starting pitcher for the Dodgers was more electric than you've ever seen. Blake Snell, the Dodgers 1-0 series lead. That series continues tonight as I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm going to try. Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers against, I believe it's Freddie Peralta for the Brewers. Let's continue on. The Seattle. Oh, wait, hold on. Check out this wild play from Brewers and Dodgers. The craziest double play you'll ever see.
And Muncy skies one to center field. Hit well. This one's got a chance. Freeland going back to the wall. He leaps. It's in and out of his glove, but he caught it. And now chaos on the bases. Might have a play at the plate. The throw. Not in time. No, he's out. He's out.
What
it's
the?
Force play at the plate.
And if you're wondering what happened, I'll bring you back to the beginning. Okay, here's the ball. It hits. It's going to hit the glove right there. There's the glove. Then it's going to hit the wall. And then it's going to be caught again. This is why it is not a catch. Now, what does that mean? That means now that because the third base runner waited at third base to see if it was going to be caught, he's now a force out at home. The second base runner didn't run. Now the catcher says, oh, good idea. I can end this inning with a double play by running to third base. That's exactly what he does. The craziest 8-6-2 double play you have ever seen. Saddle up for this series because it's going to be a good one. The Mariners 2-0 series lead on the Blue Jays. They've just been slaughtering baseballs. 3 homers last night, 8 RBI of the 10 runs scored. That's how the Brewers did it. 1 for Rodriguez, 1 for Polanco, 1 for Naylor. Your Savage got hit up in 4 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned, 4 K. It was 7 runs over the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning that really did it for the Mariners. And now the Blue Jays come back to America looking to see if they can keep this from being a sweep. I don't think it's going to be, but the Mariners are going home, and they are playing such good baseball right now. Timely hitting, good pitching, all of the things you expect and need in the postseason to make a World Series run. By the way, Seattle Mariners have never made a World Series. This will be now the 3rd time they've been within 2 wins away of making it to a World Series. The Titans, they fired their head coach, Brian Callahan. We talked about it last night. They have decided that Mike McCoy will be the interim head coach. McCoy last served as the Chargers head coach. I think it was 2013 to 2016 where he went 27-37 with 1 playoff appearance. We'll see what goes on with Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick last year, and his new coaching situation. The Lions, Brian Branch has been suspended 1 game. I don't know if you saw this the other day, but take a look about how the Chiefs and Lions game ended.
Schuster saw that. And then Branch and Juju continue to
Oh! What are we doing here, bro? We just went for a handshake. And here goes all of the nuttiness. And Brian Branch has been suspended. Here's what the NFL had to say. Your aggressive non-football act was entirely unwarranted, posed a serious risk of injury, and clearly violated the standards of conduct and sportsmanship expected of National Football League players, said the Vice President of Football Operations, John Runyon. He wrote this in a letter to Branch. Your conduct reflected poorly on the NFL and has no place in our game. You know what I found out? Brian Branch is appealing this suspension. What do you got to appeal, bro? How could you appeal this? It's on video. You looking like an idiot, smacking the dude across the face. You got nothing to appeal. I just find that so funny that these guys appeal literally everything. And I mean, I guess might as well. The NFL is probably fraudulent behind the doors anyway, so you never know. But what are you appealing, bro? Like, this is probably the one you don't have to appeal. The Avalanche off to a hot start in the National Hockey League. A few teams went into last night undefeated. The Avalanche stayed undefeated with a 3-1 victory over the Sabres. They are now 3-0-1, and they join a few teams that do not have a regular time loss. The Carolina Hurricanes 2-0 to start the season. The Nashville Predators 2-0-1. The Dallas Stars 2-0. The Seattle Kraken 2-0. The Edmonton Oilers 1-0-1. A few teams have not had a regular time loss. 3 or 4 games in to the National Hockey League right now. Make sure you check out what's going on. Speaking of what's going on, your final Tuesday top headline, or two top headlines in the National Hockey League. One, top pick Matthew Schaefer scores his first goal for the Islanders. Very cool. 18 years old. Dude should be really good. First overall pick in last year's draft. And then Lane Hudson, who was the Calder winner last year, Rookie of the Year in the National Hockey League for the Canadiens, signs an 8-year, $70.8 million extension. Last season, he tied or broke a rookie record for assists in the season with 60. He also added 6 goals for his 66 points. Those are your Tuesday top stories here on the Rome Show. If you missed any of those top stories, or you're like, ooh, I got to give that analysis to my buddy, the Rome Show podcast, if you ever listen to podcasts, or tell him to subscribe on youtube.com/the Romanellas. Let's finish this show off with some picks here for the people. All right, Friday night, game 2, NLCS, Dodgers minus 130 on the money line, Milwaukee plus 110 on the money line. What's our matchup looking like right now? Well, here's the deal, people, okay? The Dodgers have 4 hitters in their lineup that have had 20 or more at-bats, and those 4 hitters are Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Pages, and Tommy Edmonds. Andrew Pages and Tommy Edmonds, okay? Those 4 dudes are hitting a combined 164 right now in the postseason for the Dodgers with 29 strikeouts and 28 RBIs. The group of Shohei, Freeman, Pages, and Edmonds has over 90 at-bats combined and a 164 batting average with 1 more K than RBI. Shohei's hitting 148. Freeman's hitting 217. Edmond 250. And Pages an abysmal 042. I tell you all that to tell you this, okay? Milwaukee is at home for game 2. They do not want to go to LA on 2 straight losses. I also really do believe in this Milwaukee Brewers team. They are scrappy. They fight in no way, shape, or form. Do I think they're going to get swept in this series at all, let alone swept at home? And you got Yamamoto on the hill, who's got a pitching to a tune of a 2.5 ERA, and Freddie Peralta, who's been pretty solid at a 4.6. I'd say all that to say this. Give me the Brewers straight up at the win. Okay, I think the last spread I saw was 7.5, or last over-under was 7.5 total runs, and give me the under, okay? The Brewers, I think, are hitting 250 as a team. The Dodgers hitting 259, and half the Dodgers lineup is hitting below the Mendoza line. So give me the under in the runs and give me the Milwaukee Brewers on the money line for my picks this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the Rome Show here on a Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Missed the show, hit the Rome Show podcast wherever you get your podcast. We're back tomorrow morning at 7:05 for some hump day headlines and other sports conversation that we like to have. Hope you can join us. Until then, have an electric Monday. This is Andrew Romanella saying peace.
Thank you for listening.